አንድ የተረዳውት ነገር ምንም ኢንዱስትሪ ውስጥ ከሆንክ your goal should be to be the best at it. Is that ego, that's toxic competitiveness, call it whatever you want again. You need to, your goal should be I need to be the best at this. Okay? And in a very, very holistic way, in a very healthy way, competitive more beneficial. So be good in design, be good in the work that you do. Master your craft and give 110% and መልሶ ይከፍላችኋል ምንም career ውስጥ ብትሆኑ any field ውስጥ ብትሆኑ your effort will pay you back. when on the building on beveled ስታረግ because wind turbulence to the rear of the building fluctuate and ያረጋል structure. You have to research that to know እንደዚህ አይነት ነገሮች solution እንደሚሆኑ. When you are designing the core, the most efficient core design እንዴት ነው create ማድረግ የምትችለው less travel time generate አድርገ less building material ተጠቅመ structuralንም ብዙ abuse ማታረግበት method core designoች እንዴት ናቸው vertical access እንዴት ነው calculate የምታረገው in number. High rise is a very complex way to design. So initially is the concept generation phase because you have all of this information what the client wants. It's a high rise building. The way you treat it has to be very practical. Concept generation start, it has to be practical. Imagine is the smartest thing, but andandi በጣም አይተው ራሱ ነው እንደሰራው then exposure ስለሌለ exist ለሚያደርጉ ፕሮጀክቶች ስለጥፈው እንዴ ፕሮጀክት ያለለ ትባላል እና ራስን ኢምባረስ ታደርጋለህ. Okay, an advice እንደ ሽማግሌ ሰው ልጆቼ ብዬ if you can actually and square cube አምጥታችሁ with the right visuals, the right panel ምናምን you can make it look like a really good design. You know? It doesn't have to be complicated. The design እና present የምታደርግበት method can communicate such deeper ideas and concepts of what the building is. ከአንዷ ጓደኛዬ ጋር ይሄን ስናወራ ነበርና ከኔ ጋር በጣም አግሪ ታደርጋለች ምን ትለኛለች is I would say it's 50% of the work. How you communicate the design. School. Not in practice, okay? In school, in practice you actually have to do the job, you know? Like the presentation ሰክሷለሁ የምትሉት ነገር የለም አሁን እንደ ተማሪ እያወራሁ ነው ያ የምታልፈው ነገር የለም. So presentation and how you sell that idea is very important. So how do you communicate? Okay, you can use renderings, visualizations. So for visualizations, the target should not be realism. The target should be, what best way can I show this building that kind of sells the idea. ገብቷል? Previously on a concept on a form እያሳየው ነበር. I can't talk about it again. ያነሳውበት angle with the aerial angle surrounding ላይ ገቡት ኮንቴክስቶች is specifically የዚህም building characteristics ወይም form እና conceptual representation showcase እንዲያደርግ ነው ማለት ነው. I'm not saying realism doesn't play a part here. Realism is very important. Can time short ከሆናችሁ it doesn't need have the context. I want to reference my school high rise project, right? It's a white render. The context is white, the trees are white, the people are white, everything is white, okay? It's not the most realistic render out there.
It is one of the most beautiful renders out there.
And the thing is I was not going for realism. I could have done it. I did have the time, realistic, render, incredible context, green, compound ማድረግ ይችላሉ. But I knew I was trying to sell this idea of this out of the world futuristic essence, characterun መሸጥ ፈልጌ ነበር within the design. We may talk about the project more in detail ግን visualization ላይ selling an idea እና visually አይተውት okay this is what the building is ሚሉትን ነገር perceive እንዲያደርጉ እንፈልጋለን. Your floor plans especially ፓኔል ምሰሩ ከሆነ try not to make them too complicated. ምክንያቱም 100% sure ፓኔል ላይ ቆማችሁ መጀመሪያ እዚህ ክፍል ከዛ እዚህ ክፍል እያላችሁ ከሆነ you're spending a lot of time. Even in practice like client ሄደ of course if the client is not technical he's more engaged especially the contractor technically የሆነ ነገር ታቀርባል for the client we prepare a different floor plan that kind of sells the space and spatial እንትኑን now we use different tools like VR and virtual tours you know easier communication at the end of the day communication is I think the highlight of the entire thing so you can use diagrams to sell your ideas you can use you know very illustrative የሆኑ sections and impressive የሆኑ diagrams Pinterest እዚህ ጋር ፍሬንዳችሁ መሆን አለበት please like look at what other people are doing okay similar scale similar formal expression ያለው building ካለ do those okay you would reach a point where you don't have to look that and you can come up with really incredible visuals by yourself but copy like an artist ነው right initially especially school ላይ ያላችሁ look at what other people are doing in their communication methods and do those ገብታችኋል
I think add ለማድረግ የሆነ the point where people get lost is እኛም struggle እናደርግ የነበረው we ለራሳችን የምናስቀምጠው expectation academically የምንሰራቸው ነገሮች they have to be የሆነ implementable መሆን አለባቸው ስለዚህ ራሳችን የሆነች ነገር ውስጥ ሉዝ እናደርግና እነዚህ Pinterest ምናምን ስናይ we tend not to relate it with design ነገርና maybe እሱ ነው ብያስባለሁ Pinterest ታቡ ይሆን ነው ይመጣና ከዛ ላይ አይ ተብሎ በቃ ይተዋል ማለት ነው ግን I think
አንዳንዱ ደግሞ የሆነ ስለ ያው ዴቪ ያቋል ምን እንደሆነ ግን ምንድነው መሰለህ Pinterest ጥሩ እኔ ምንም ቅሬታ የለኝም ግን መጥፎ የሚሆነው መቼ ነው Pinterest ራሱን ፕሮጀክቱን ስታየው ማለት ነው ራሱ በቃ ስለ ከፒንትረስት ላይ ወርዶ በአካል ስታየው ፓነል ላይ አናዳርሱ ምክንያቱም ምንም አርቲስቲክ የሆነ ነገር የለውም ሚሚክ ነው የተደረገው ኮፒ ነው የተደረገው ብዬ ነው ማስበው
I think ቆይ እንትን ለማለት ብዬ ነበረው ራሴ በራሴ like when we're learning it has to be something original as if buildable መሆን ያለበት ነገር like as if እነዚህ ትላልቅ ምንላቸው ሰዎች የሰሩትን ስራ ሌቨል መሆን አለበት ብለን የሆነ ፍሎር ላይ ራሳችንን አስቀምጠና we can't get out of it so Pinterest is good but it's great any personally ለብዙ ፕሮጀክት የተጠቀምኩት ፕላትፎርም ነው እና this is reality you know school is a place where you have to explore and explore ለማድረግ ደግሞ of course imitate ማድረግ it is necessary ምክንያቱም ትላልቅ አርኪቴክቶች ምንላቸው always ትልቅ ከመሆናቸው በፊት የሆነ አርኪቴክትን imitate አድርገው ነው የሚመጡት እና እሱ ላይ አይደለም ማድረግ
yeah I don't know okay it's a good point that you raised and then when you are looking outside ያለውን ነገር subconsciously ሊሆን ይችላል እኮ ራሱን ነገር ስትሰራው ታገኘዋል ከሰማይ በታች አዲስ ነገር የለም አይደለ በራስ ክፍሉ ስራ ዘንቆልፈ ብትሰራ believe me resemble የሚያደርግ ቢልዲንግ አመጣላል I have been living a projectoችን ስሰራ there were times when I was told my building look like a PS5 my building look like a power bank my building look like a mouse a dragon either a snake or
dragon ከተባለ ግን ኮምፕሊመንት መሰለኝ
I think it is I'll take it as a compliment ግን understand ማድረግ ያለብህ ነገር የሆነ level of maturity ላይ መድረስ አለብህ ነገርን ድጋሚ ራሱን ማለት ለስራውም ሪስፔክት ስለሌለ I wouldn't spend time with that person ማለት አስተማሪም በሆን ኮሜንትም ያ like point outም አላደረገውም ምክንያቱም this person is not taking the work seriously ረጅምም እንደማይር ታውቀዋለህ ምክንያቱም you can't always find a solution for everything on other places okay እንደዛ አይደለም እያልኩ ያለሁት ግን for people that are really into design and I would go one step further from Pinterest whenever I do a project I have this software called PureRef ምንድነው it's like an infinite canvas for inspiration okay with Pinterest you have to jump from project to project right I download a number of projects the different section of my building የተለያዩ ዞኖች አዘጋጅና I have this infinite canvas drag አደርጓል you can zoom out you have like hundreds of photos into one canvas right you can see the project there you know it's like not one particular image okay kazala I wish I brought my sketchbook right I see all of that right I leave that behind I start sketching እኔ ያን ያህል ጎበዝ አይደለም እነሱ የሰሩትን ሚሚክ ለማድረግ to be honest with you. I'm not good enough to replicate work. I'm not that good, you know. Then I come up with my own simpler way of designing. For the Dabub Global Bank high rise, I can, you know, like screenlay ታሳዩ ትችላለ some of the sketches I've done. Very mediocre sketches, very funny sketches ዎች ናቸው ግን we were exploring with ideas, you know, back and forth mergeroችን እየፈጠርን we were looking at, you know, perforated facades but implemented in different ways on like water retention material ሆኖ ሲጠቀሙት ማለት as an inspiration እንወስደዋለን and we kind of bring it into a building or something else, you know. It's synthesis no at the end of the day, you know. ራስን alienate አድርገ from everything. You can't possibly imagine to come up with an idea, okay. Concept selection, let me refer back. I think the project frame ባደርገው easier ይሆናል ብዬ አስባለሁ እንዲቀልም. So for the school high rise project the concept was STEAM. Yeah, metaphor አትጠቀሙ እንባላለን but I used a metaphor, okay. So the concept was STEM. So the idea of STEM is ከዛፍ ሲበቅል ከስሩ በቅሎ ግንድ እንዴት እንደሚሆን ታያላችሁ. ትራንዚሽኑ ሲምለስ ነው where the ግንዱ ወደ መሬት ሲመጣ is like the horizontal ወደ ከቨርቲካል ወደ ሆሪዞንታል ሲምለስ የሆነ ትራንዚሽን ነው. so tower design ስናደርግ is like trophy የሆነ ኢፌክት አለው አልኳቸው where you have the context and you have the tower. It's like a trophy, የሆነ ትሮፊ ይመስላል. ፖዲየሙን ብታየው ስም ተጽፎ በቃ ትሮፊ ነው የሚመስለው to be honest. Now it needs to blend to the context ይላል. I'm not hating on them. There are corporate offices that are designed perfectly, okay. Then I'm saying my high rise shouldn't be like that, right? STEM መሆን አለበት. So I was looking at a number of concepts about this very mystical የሆኑ አርቶች where the tower የሆነ like magical towers coming from the compound. I was looking at a lot of those. They really impacted the design ገብቷል and synthesize ተደርጎ process ተደርጎ ነው እንትን የሚለው. So you need to be careful on how you use inspirations. smart መሆን አለብህ ገብቷል. ግን at the same time you should not avoid them. ምክንያቱም avoid ስታደርግ ደግሞ ችግሩ ልንገርክ you avoid a design for a very long time ከዛ በራሴ ሰራው ብለዋል maybe እንዲህ ስታልፍ የጓደኛ ስልክ ላይ ተው ሊሆን ይችላል. አይምሮ ካያቅም ይሄን ነበር አይምሮአችን is the smartest thing but አንዳንዴ በጣም አይተው ራሱ ነው የሰራው. then exposure ስለሌለ ለኤግዚስት ለሚያደርጉ ፕሮጀክቶች ስለጥፈው እንዴ ፕሮጀክት ያደለ ትባላል እና ራስን ኢምባረስ ታደርጋል. ግን this happens in out of where in a number of places. so in practice exist የሚያደርጉ ነገሮች ናቸው. so inspiration ስትጠቀሙ you need to be smart about it. It is a really good tool, especially ከክላይንት ጋር ኮሚኒኬት ስናደርግኛ we have this initial phase where we are proposing a project or a solution, right? ቅድም in and out burger inside out outside in የሚለውን ሀሳብ እንዴት ነው የሚሸጠው? አንድ ፋንሲ የስኩል ዳያግራም ሰርተ ክላይንት ጋር ብትሄድ ምንድነው ነው ይሄ ነው የሚልክ. you need to ground it with actual references, right? ያው ችግሩ ለክላይንት ሬፈረንስ ታዩ he feels like that's the actual project that you are designing. You need to okay, these are concepts, okay. These are references, do not take them literally. These are some of the ways we can solve them, okay. You need to be very clear with the client about that. So we play around with mood boards and kind of help the client figure out what we are doing. አሁን ሁለት ወር ቆይተ ይሄን አልፈልግም ማለት የለበትም. He needs to be part of the process, right? So inspirations I would እንደዛ አስባችኋል when working with design.
እኔ የምለው ነገር የለኝም። እኔ ዴቭ ብዙ ጊዜ ስለምለው እኔ just መሰራ ሲጀምር የትኛውንም ብትሄድ ሳይንቲስቶችን ጋር ሂድ ምንም ብትል ሪፈር የሚያደርጉት ነገር አለ. ገባ ከአንድ ካልኩሌሽን እንኳን በራሱ አይደለም የሚመጣው ከሌላው ነው ድራይቭ ተደርጎ የሚመጣውና ያኔ ትልቁ ችግር የነበረው በቃ ራሱ ነው ለምን ይቀመጣል። ኢቨን የሆነ ስቶሪ አለ ልጁ ፕሮፖዛል ወሩን ሙሉ ዲዛይን እንትን አድርጎ ምናምን ነገር ፋይናል እንትን ላይ በጣም ነው የሚያምረው በቃ ፕሬዘንቴሽኑና አስተማሪው ፎቶ አንስቶት ሄደ በቃ አሪፍ ምናምን ብሏል። አንደኛው ግን ውስጡ በቃ ሊቀበለው አልቻለም እና ፎቶ አንስቶት ምናምን ሄደና ኢንተርኔት ላይ ሰርች ማድረግ ጀመረ። ከዛ መጨረሻ ላይ ያገኘው ምንድነው ቻይና ሀገር የተሰራ ፕሮጀክት ነው በቃ የቻይና ሀገር ውስጥ ለሆነ ለግራጁዌሽን ፕሮጀክት ተብሎ ግን የሆነ አየር ላይ ያለ ገና መሬት ያልወረደና በጣም ነው የተናደደው እና ግሬዱን ኤፍ ሲሰጠው ልጁ እንዴት እንደዚህ እንትን ተለኛለ ምናምን ብሎ ሄዶ አሳየው እና በቃ የሚፈጠረው ነገር አንዳንዴ ምንድነው ለመማር ብቻ እያሰብክ ከሆነ ትምህርቱን እንዳልኩ ነው መጨረሻውን እያየክ ከሆነ አርክ ገባለው ወጣ ብር ነው ማተመው ቁጭ ብዬ ኦፊስ ከፍታለሁ ፕሮጀክቶች ይመጣሉ በቃ ይሄን 100 ሺህ ሚሊዮን አስገባለሁ ብሎ የሚያስብ ማይንድ ሴት ካለ ገባካ በምንም ታምር ቁጭ አንድ ደቂቃም ቢሆን ቁጭ ብሎ ስኬች ለማድረግ እንትን አይደለም እና ፒንትረስትም ብለቀዋል አንተ ፒንትረስት ማየት ጥሩ ነው ከፒንትረስት ላይ ቪዲዮችን ሙድ ቦርድ ማዘጋጀት ጥሩ ነው ከዛ ስኬች ማድረግ እሷን ስቴፕ እንረሳለን ስኬች መደረግ የምትለው እንረሳና ከዛ ምን እናረጋለን ፎቶን እንከፍታለን እዚህ ጋር ሶፍትዌር እንከፍታና ቁጭ ብለን እንቀጠቅጠዋለን ይሄው ስቲቺንግ ያሉ ሰዳት እዚህ ጋር
I think እሱ ግን የሚያደርገው ነገር on a personal note self esteem ይጎዳል በጣም አሁን ለአንድ ፕሮጀክት እንትን ይሆናል ኦኬ አፕሊካብል ተደረገ ከዛላ everyone appreciates it your instructor appreciate ያደርገዋል ከዛላ ግን in the future ህሊናችን at the end of the day as long as we're human beings ከራሳቸው ጋር communicate ስለሚያደርጉ authentic የሆነ ስሜት አይሰማንም so I think Pinterest እንደዚህ abuse የሚደረገው it's easier abuse ለመደረግ easy ስለሆነ ነው ግን we just have to stay authentic ለራሳችንም እንቅድም ደግሞ especially ለፊልዱም እንትን authentic ሆነ
ትዝይላል ከጁኒየር ከኛ በታች ያሉት ወደ 3 ወይ 4 ተማሪዎች ኤፍ የተሰጣቸዋል ጋና ቤዚክ ዲዛይን የተማሩ or something የሆነ ብቻ ፎርማል ኮምፖዚሽን ምናምን ተማሩበት ስቴጅ የለም እና አስተማሪው በቃ ይሄ ፒንትረስት ነው ስለዚህ ኤፍ ነው ሰጣቸው ብለው ወጣች ኤፍ ሰጣቸው እና አመቱን ሙሉ ዝም ብላቸው ነበር ይሄንን ሲያመጡ ያንን ሲያመጡ ምንም አላለቻቸው ረፉ ስትል ነበር መጨረሻ ላይ ሰጠቻቸው ልክ ነች ምናምን ነገር አይደለም ግን ምንድነው አንዳንዴ ሰው ዝም ሲልም ኦር ያው ክላስ ውስጥ የሚወራው ነገር ዊን ነው ተገባ ካሁን ለአንተ ብትሆን ከሆነ ነገር ላይ ታይመጣው ላንተ ማንንም ምንም አይደለም እኔና ዲቭ ግን ልናወራው እንችላለን ይሄ ከፒንትረስት ስራ ነው እና ይሄ ከዛ ፋይሉንላ እናወጣውና እያየነው ምናምን እቺን እንኳን አይቀይራት ምናምን ነገር ይባላል እና ያው ይሄ ባህላችን ስለሆነ
I accept what you're saying የነገሮችን bright side ማየት ስለምፈልግ people say I'm very optimistic about a lot of things okay መኮረጅም ስትለኝ okay what is the bright side of መኮረጅ not school but project is replicate ማድረግ what's the bright side of it still like እንትን አለ Pablo Picasso ነው right it took me 4 years to draw like Raphael or some artist 4 አመት ወሰደብኝ but it took me a lifetime to draw like a child which is his style ገብቷል መጀመሪያ ፒካሶን ስዕሎች ካያችኋቸው they are very realistic by the way but very incredible artworks cuz it took him a lifetime to discover who he was you know as an apprentice within the old cultures ምትሰራው previously ሰራውን ሰው exactly መድገም ነው then through time you start writing your own story I wouldn't encourage people to copy for school projects can copy for practice find it አንዳንዴ ጥሩም ነገር እንዳለው አክሴፕት ማድረግ እንዳለ ያው ኔጌቲቭ ሳይዱ ሊን ያደርጋል I agree with that ግን ሁሉ ጊዜ እንትኑን አስበንም ደግሞ ራሳችንን እንትን እንዳናገል ከኤኒ ወርልድ ራሳችንን አግልለን እንዳንወጣም ስለምፈራ ነው learn from people one good way of learning a software is exist የሚያደርግ ቢልዲንጋቸው how do I model this ብላችሁ ኤክስፔሪመንት ማድረግ ነው a good example would be recently share ያደረግነው አንድ ፕሮጀክት አለ it was not an actual project it is a wooden library recently ነው እንትን ያለው and a lot of people were reacting no that was not originally our project there was a project by ስሙን ተናገርናል ዋራክ የሚባል architectural firm now they did a similar project and we said okay the facade is good እኛ ሀገር ኢምፕሊመንት ብናደርገው how could we redesign or the facade, the roof and some of the interior elements, then we reimagined it, right? We learned a lot from that project. We could use it as a learning process, but we are not selling it as our own. It's their project. We just reimagined some of the facade to make it more usable to the interior space. So creative individuals እንደመሆናችን we are not, by the way, so አንዳንድ ሰው factual የሆኑ ወይም በጥናት የሚገኙ ነገሮችን ይኮርጃል, right? ወይ አይቶ ለራሱ ሊያደርግ ይችላል. we are talking about creativity, right? so in the learning process ብንጠቀመው ጥሩ ነው ብላለው. I am not encouraging a lot of things, ግን look at the bright side on a lot of things ከማለት perspective አኳያ ነው.
It's very true. It's very true. So thank you so much. Then አሁን ስለ more to round off our episode.
Okay.
ስለ አንድ project, I think we talked about some of your
projects
that that's the best part of እንደዚህ the best part was this, ግን አንድ project ሊ specifically ብናየው ደስ ይለናል. ስለ ደቡብ ግሎባል ባንክ ከዛላ maybe tell us how the workflow is now for aspiring people ደግሞ that actually want to በዛ level ላይ ደርሶ እንደዚህ አይነት ነገር ለመስራት ለሚፈልግም ሰው what is the workflow like? What was the initial from the initial to that? I know it's like it's months and የወራት ስራ ነው, ግን at least for people who actually know you and who actually follow you and for actually fans of እንደዚህ የሆነ detailed የሆነ ስራ ፋኖች የሆኑ ሰዎች maybe their question is የኛም question እሱ ስለሆነ what has been the workflow like?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so እንዳልከው a lot of process, designs have a lot of back and forth, linear አይደለም ብያችኋለሁ. Let me try to explain it in a linear way. So ፕሮጀክቱን ለማያቅ ሰው የግሎባል ባንክ ኢትዮጵያ currently rebrand ያደረገው ባንክ launched a competition. mostly እንደዚህ አይነት large scale ፕሮጀክቶች በኮምፒቲሽን ነው handle የሚደረጉት. so they launched a competition አዲሱ headquarter buildingቸው, which is expected to be a ground plus 50 high rise building. ለሱ competition launch ተደረገ. 5000 plot of land ነበረ. so እኛ as a team of course qualified አልነበርንም competition ውስጥ involve ለማድረግ. we partnered with one of our clients, Elauto Engineering የሚባል, ከነሱ ጋር partner አድርገን we entered the competition. there was 3 of us actively working on the project, 3 people. It's a high-rise project, very complex. It was a change from what I've been used to school kasarraut high-rise project, because that's really influenced adergotal እዛ ላይ የምንሰራውን ስራ. so we were coming in as በጣም very young, very passionate, driven የሆኑ architects who has yet to know a lot, ግን we're trying to prove themselves in the market, right? so projectun ተቀበልን. we were a week or 2 weeks late ለመግባት ወደ ፕሮጀክቱ. so we were already behind schedule. so መጀመሪያ ፕሮጀክቱ ሲሰጥ they give you a term of reference, they give you information about the project, right? and you take that information, ያው ብዙ ዲቴሎች ይኖራቸዋል, ምን እንደሚፈልግ ደስ የሚለው እንደዚህ አይነት ነገሮች ላይ thoroughly ይሆናል ክላይንቱ exactly ምን እንደሚፈልግ ይነግራል. so you go to the site ላይ ሄድን, ያየውን ኮንዲሽኖች አጠናን, ኖርቴክ ማፕ ወሰድን, ኮንቴክስቱን አይደንቲፋይ አደረግን. so I set up 2 things, right? one, that's working on the context, because context influences ስለሚያደርገው ዲዛይኑን. I have some people start working on the concept and another people working on people ስለ ያው ሶስታችን የምንከፋፈለው. እሺ so we had interns supporting us ደስ የሚሉ በጣም thankful ሆናለሁ ለነሱ ኢንተርኖች. so we started working on the project. so initially is the concept generation phase, because you have all of this information what the client wants. It's a high rise building. The way you treat it has to be very practical. concept generation start, it has to be practical, because you are dealing with complex structural systems, building systems, functional requirement, area fluctuation which affect ሊያደርጉ ይችላሉ result. so concept እንደሰጥል you can't and then ቀድሙስ team ብለህ over the top አትሄድም. so you have to be very practical. ስለዚህ ኮንሴፕታችን ምን ነበረ? you can show the diagram here. so I created a diagram, okay? we explored many ways of how we want to approach designing the high rise. Can understand out ያደረገብን idea when approach is building the tower from blocks. It's like a Lego or እነዚህ የሚወዳደቁ የምትጫወቻቸው የሆነ ጌሞች አሉ ስሙን አስተውሱ እንዲሰስቡ ብቻ እንደዛ ብሎኮች አሰብናቸው. So I created this diagram that shows a person arranging different blocks in different sequences. ከፖዲየሙ ጀምሮ የተወሰኑ ብሎኮች አሬንጅ እየተደረጉ they create the entire tower. So እነዛ ብሎኮች as a concept ወይ ሰማሴ ሜታፎር ወይም እንደ ሚኒንግ የሰጠናቸው የባንኩ ቢልዲንግ ብሎኮች ናቸው ብለን አስብን ራይት ካስኬድ እያደረጉ ይሄዳሉ ምክንያቱም መመሪያ ቃላቸው የእድገቶ መሰላል የሚል ነበር ራይት ሶ እንደ ላደር ግሮዊንግ የሚያደርጉ እንትኖች ነበሩ ከዛ እነዛም ብሎኮች ፋንክሽናል ቤኔፊት ሰጠናቸው ኦፍ ኮርስ ሚኒንጋቸው አለ ሜታፎሪካል ሚኒንግ አላቸው አለ አክቹዋል ቤኔፊት አለ those blocks helped us zone the different sections of the tower so you have the premium bank you have the commercial area you have the public የሆነው space ይኖርካል ከዛ you have the actual corporate offices so እንደዛ block ተደረገው ተቀመጡ so we arranged those blocks so initially we were playing around with SketchUp with different forms arrangementation we wanted to be mathematical የእያንዳንዱ massing space እና scale further programs እንከትበት ያ ፎርም ደግሞ flexibly move ያደርጋል we want like ራሳችንን በሆነ ስፔሲፊክ ፎርማል ኤክስፕሬሽን ሊሚት ማድረግ አልፈለግንም so this allowed us to play around with different characters ስለዚህ እሱን አመጣ and then we started adding programs into it programs ስትመጣ ደስ ይላል like you see the building evolving from one form to another so formal transformationun ካሳየኸው it can show you the different process that we used so from there we started up talking about space let's individual space which ምንድነው የሚሆኑት what does the premium bank look like what does the offices look like what does the core look like extensive research it requires extensive research and now you need to be very smart on how you solve a lot of problems when on the building on beveled ስታረግ because wind turbulence to the rear of the building fluctuate and ያደርጋል structure you have to research that to know እንደዚህ አይነት ነገሮች solution እንደሚሆኑ when you are designing the core the most efficient core design እንዴት ነው create ማድረግ የምትችለው less travel time generate አድርገ less building material ተጠቅመ structuralንም ብዙ abuse ማታረግበት method core designoች እንዴት ናቸው vertical access እንዴት ነው calculate የምታረገው in number high rise is a very complex way to design different from other buildings so we spend months doing this you know like 3 people you know researching going back and forth I'm very grateful for my partners really smart people I think but I'm appreciate aragachualu they went like really into the project and understand diagno we were going against the big dogs you know the top of the business ውስጥ እየሄድን ነው so we need በቃ effort ማውጣት አለብን we are already in this we have spent months in this you need to give it your all የሚል mentality ነበረን so concept 2 program እየገባ evolve እያደረገ ይመጣል so shape-ን እየቀየረ formal እየሆነ ይመጣል then የሆነ point ላይ ፋሳድን ኤክስፕሎር ማድረግ ጀመረ so ፋሳዱን ስንሰራ እነዚህ ያስቀመጥናቸው ብሎኮች ዲስቲንክሽኑን እንዲያሳይ ፈለግን so some blocks might have some facade character others might have a different one others might have a different one so ከሩቅ ስታየው ያ ዲስቲንክሽን ያለ ያ different ኤሌመንቶች አጥቶ አሬንጅ የተደረጉ ይመስላል አንዱን አውጥተህ የራሱ ቢልዲንግ የሚሆን ራሱ ይመስላል ግን visually pleasing መሆን አለበት in which አንደኛው thicker የሆኑ vertical ኤሌመንቶች አንደኛው thinner የሆኑ horizontal ኤሌመንቶች ይኖሩታል so we kind of facade took us like a lot of iterations you know we do one facade we rendered it out and we have to redo it so the good thing is visualization has been part of the design process from the start and in the firm understand the visualization is not an end where you do the project and you finally light and now materials task oh this is the project from the start we knew what it was going to look like okay so at every stage visualize ያደረግነው ስፔሱን እያየነው ቱር ያደረግነው interior ስፔሶችን ስኬላቸውን እያየን navigate አደረግን then the other challenging part is creating the panels and the visualizations and thank God for school you know በደንብ እንድንሰራ አድርጎናል I had some friends help out the section of the project, but we created very detailed የሆኑ very illustrative የሆኑ በጣም amazing የሆኑ diagramoችን created አደረግን visualization. We wanted to be ምክንያቱም with such type of competitions you are not there to explain the project. That's why it's very tough. The project ራስን ማታወራው ከሆነ አስቸጋሪ ናቸው. So we created a very illustrative video. አንዷ ጓደኛችን ናሬት አደረገችው very incredibly ናሬት አደረገችው ከዛ በኋላ በቃ it came out very amazingly and ሪዛልቱ ሲነገር የዛኔ የሪዛልቱ ሽጦታ we were incredibly amazed to get second place as a first time competitor. This is our first project to compete in, and knowing that በጣም ሪስፔክት እና ሉክ አፕ የምናደርጋቸው ሰዎች ኮምፒት እያደረጉበት የነበረው ነውና it really boosted our confidence and what we were capable of as a firm. And we implemented the same processes we use at school, the same design principles, the same visualizations and communicating skills, and we kind of proved to others that ቅድም ያልኳችሁ ነገር practice and school cross migrate ያደርጋሉ. Okay, the same crazy ideas and incredible visuals that you use in school, you can implement them in practice and they can actually bring value to the project. So that was a very interesting learning process, and we can implementing the same processes on the different ventures that we are doing currently, and hopefully in the future we will share more of our works. You can look at it up, and it could be a learning opportunity for both of us.
So any personally I appreciate your project. Look እንደወጣ I'm being honest እዚህ ጋር ልክ ፕሮጀክቶቹ እንትኖቹ ፖስት አደረጉን እዚህ አርክቴክቸራል ቻናሎች አሉ ቴሌግራም ላይ እያየኋቸው ይሄ ማን እንደሆነ አውቃለሁ አልኩኝ. I didn't even check the name ማለት ነው because of the renders, the type of quality, the photography angles የሚነሳበት, the type of detail specifically የሚነሱበት እና it's really amazing. እንደዚህ ኮሜንትም የሰጠው it's amazing በሌላ በኢትዮጵያዊ እጅ ደግሞ እንደዚህ አይነት level of work መሰራቱ. I believe of course ስራው it speaks itself, ግን አሪፍ ስራ ሲሆን ደግሞ encourage መደረግ አለበት ብዬ አስባለሁ. so እኔ you are my staples በአርኪቴክቸር ውስጥ ማያቸው ሰዎች መካከል አንተም እና your team you are my staples. ምክንያቱም one of the things we don't talk about is collaborative process ራሱ it is master መደረግ ያለበት ነውና collaborative process የሁሉም ሰው ማይንድ እንደ አንድ አክት አድርጎ መጨረሻው ደግሞ coherent የሆነ ዲዛይን ሲሆን it speaks volumes about the people who actually designed it. እና I am truly honored, both of us are truly honored ግሬስ ስላደረከን በዚህ እንግዲህ አበዛው በግን so ከመጨረሻችን I think our episode is rounding off እና this segment I think ለብዙ especially graduate አድርገው or internship ላይ ወደ professional world ላይ ለሚገባ architect በጣም essential የሆነ segment ነው ብዬ አስባለሁ portfolios እና maybe to round off ያደረግነን ብናወራና ብዙ ጊዜ to just give you a general outline ብዙ ጊዜ portfolios are በጣም the hardest thing for an architect to do or for any designer to do ምክንያቱም a designer focuses on the work ግን he does not focus on ራሱን እንዴት ነው advertise ማድረግበት ብሎ ማለት ነው ምክንያቱም portfolio is not something you just okay project አለ የሚቀመጥ አይደለም እሱ ራሱ የራሱ separate የሆነ project ነውና maybe አንተንም portfolio and example ወስደን what tips what advice do you have for others?
እሺ አጣጥሪ ለመመለስ ሞክራለሁ አብዛኛው የተጠየቀውን ጥያቄ ይሄን መልስ መመልሰው from someone የራሱን ፖርትፎሊዮ ክሬት ያደረገ የካምፓኒን ፖርትፎሊዮ ክሬት ያደረገ ከዛ ደግሞ multiple of portfolios ሃየር ለማድረግ ከተቀበለ ሰው ፐርስፔክቲቭ ነው ማወራ ዛሬ ምንድነው ይፈለኩት በጣም ክሪቲካል የሆነ ኮንዲሽን ነው ያለው ነገር ፖርትፎሊዮ እና ሲቪ ያንተን ኮምፕሌክስ የሆነውን ፐርሰናሊቲህን በ20 ወረቀት ፊልተር ማድረግ ያንን አይቶ ሰው ጃጅ ያደርጋል እኔ ግራ ይገባኝ ነበር ለምን እንደዚህ ብቻ አይተው ሰው ሳያውቁ ጃጅ የሚያደርጉት አሁን እኔ ሃየር ሳያደርግ I judge people based on their portfolio. This is how it is. I have no I don't have time to interview 30-40 አፕሊካንቶችም እንትን ማለት you judge people based on their CV and their portfolio እና especially እዚህ ሀገር ያለው architectural industry ለፖርትፎሊዮ I think በጣም ብዙ ቦታ የምንሰጠው አይመስለኝም ካየሁት አንፃርና other countries ላይ ከሚሰጡት እንትን perspective so portfolios are very critical for your career graduate ማደረጋችሁ 15 አመትም ሰራችሁ portfolio በጣም critical ነው so a portfolio successful portfolio ምን define ያደርጋል የሚለውን first of all you can first go online and learn how to design a portfolio issue.com ላይ ግቡ look what many people publish ያደርጓቸው portfolios learn how it is done first ግን just as an insight and as a highlight how to make a good portfolio explain ላድርግ first of all ቅድም እንዳልኩት people want to learn who you are as an architect basically as a person ላይሆን ይችላል ማወቅ ይፈልጋሉ so you are communicating yourself to a potential employer of what your potentials are right ስለዚህ ሲቪያችሁ ላይ ስታስገቡ ስለ ሲቪ ላውራና write down critical የሆኑ ኢንፎርሜሽኖች you don't have to write down where you went to high school and the employer that's not important to me write down where your school is okay what type of projects and internship programs that you have went to graduate ካደረጋችሁ ለኢንተርንሺፕ ከሆነ ደግሞ ስኩል ውስጥ maybe አንዳንድ ኤክስትራ ካሪኩላር አክቲቪቲ ካላችሁ የሰራችኋቸው ነገሮች ስፔሲፋይ አድርጉ your CV I'm sure especially fresh graduate ከሆናችሁ is not going to be long የኔም ረጅም አይደለም you know I have met people with 60 page or 30 page CV ያላችሁ they went through a lot you know ረጅም እንዲሆን አይጠበቅም ግን precise እና beneficial የሚሆን ኢንፎርሜሽን ስጡ okay unnecessary dataዎች ከዛ በኋላ የምትጠቀሙትን ቴክኒካል ስኪሎች ያሏችሁን ሶፍትዌሮች I use this software I heard someone ስለ ፖርትፎሊዮ ስታወራ don't put those dots where ሌቭሉን የሚያሳይ because it's informative አይደለም ለኔ ገብቷችኋል so just write down the software that you use and your some of the professional skills ከዛ with going to your portfolio really pay attention to how you communicate your designs ቅድም ፓኔል ላይ ቅድም visualization ላይ ያወራቸውን ነገሮች implement አድርጓቸው one of my hires office ውስጥ I was incredibly impressed by her site plan making skills how she creates site plans but I'm impressed ያደርገኛል she knows who she is ስለዚህ እየሳቀችው በቃ like some of the things የምታስገቧቸው ነገሮች might be defining where you are going to work next right pay attention to your visuals how you communicate and how you think how you put your fonts and it's ሲቪያቸውን ክሬት ሲያደርጉ ታይፖግራፊያቸውን አሬንጅመንቱ እንዴት I don't know if it's because I'm a designer at this core ግን I know they paid attention and effort እንዳወጡበት አውቃለሁ portfolios are very important ከተማ ውስጥ ብዙ opportunities አሉ ለአርኪቴክት okay I have offices that say we have 5-6 openings አሉን አርኪቴክት ማግኘት አቃተን የሚሉ there is a lot of opportunities there really good opportunities architectural office ብቻ አይደለም አርኪቴክት እየቀጠረ ያለው ሚኒስትሪ ኦፊሶች አሉ ብዙ ፈርሞች አሉ okay have a really good portfolio ካሪራችሁን really ወደ ተሻለ ቦታ ይወስድላችሁ okay እና ታርጌትድ ሁኑ ለምትሄዱበት ፈርም okay if you are applying for an architectural scope you don't have to put portrait sketches of your work because ለቀጣሪው relevant የሆነ ኢንፎርሜሽን ነው መስጠት ያለባችሁ rather architectural sketches አስገቡ so I just wanted to highlight the fact that portfolios ለአርኪቴክት as a professional ለካሪሩ በጣም impactful ናቸው it tells you who you are as a person so when employer receives ያረግ already 70% judge አድርጓቸዋል the other 30% በኢንተርቪው interview ላይ ደግሞ you know you dress good you communicate you become engaging professional at the same time then you got the job that you want ማለት ነው yeah so yeah that's I just wanted to point out the importance of design and you know design ከሰራችሁ እና ያን ሁሉ effort ካወጣችሁ በኋላ when you are curating your portfolios is evenly more critical that's how you communicate who you are እሱን ለማለት ያለ
that is probably any ሰዓቱ እንደሄደ ምራስ አላስተዋልኩ ነበር So thank you so much.
Okay.
Join ስላደረከን and any personally እንደማ appreciate ማድረግ ፈልገው his enthusiasm from the start, from the first phone call, from the first text. Enthusiasm it was amazing. Your enthusiasm to let others know what you have, ያለህን የተማርከውንና የተረዳኸውን ለማስረዳት ያለ enthusiasm, it's inspiring. እና እኔም personally I wish ሁላችንም እንደዛ ብንሆን ምን ያህል ትልቅ የሆነ community እንደምንሆን imagine ማድረግ it's not hard. So እንደ
no.
So in the culture የምናደርገው we like to ask our guests if there is any upcoming projects in our audience መጠበቅ የሚችሉት, or ደግሞ if there is an advice or a summary, that one phrase you would like to tell, like as you want as compact የሆነች sentence ማለት ነው that you want to tell us.
Okay, an advice እንደ ሽማግሌ ሰው ላወራክ ልጆቼ ብዬ ቅድም ያልኩት ነገር ማለት if you are a designer ማስተር ካደረከው ያንተን ህይወት ብቻ ሳይሆን የሌላ ሰውን ህይወት መቀየር የሚችል ነገር መስራት ትችላለህ. And you are also talking if you have other projects as a firm ራሳችንን distinguish የምናደርገው we are not doing what we do for fame or success, ግን impact መፍጠር እንፈልጋለን. I think that's the wish of every architect. We have a number of projects that are coming up that are transformative, if I could say the least. You know, I'm very optimistic, ስለዚህ challenge. Okay.
I didn't notice.
We're still starting off. This is our second year, you know, as a firm, and እግዚአብሔር ረድቶን ብዙ ነገር መስራት ችለናል. ለብዙም ነገር exposure አግኝተናል. So advise him at the same time highlight him ምንድነው የሚሆነው whatever profession you are in, whatever you do 100%, give it 110%, you know. ይሄ successful ከሆነ ሰው አይደለም እያለ ያለው, this is a person trying to make it, okay. successful ሆኜ give it 100% ብል boost እያደረኩ እንደሆነ ያስታውቃል. ግን አንድ የተረዳሁት ነገር ምንም ኢንዱስትሪ ውስጥ ከሆንክ your goal should be to be the best at it. Is that ego, that's toxic competitiveness, call it whatever you want. Again, you need to, your goal should be I need to be the best at this, okay. And in a very, you know, very holistic way, in a very healthy way, competitive more beneficial. So be good in design, be good in the work that you do. Master your craft and give 110%, and መልሶ ይከፍላችኋል. ምንም career ውስጥ ብትሆኑ, any field ውስጥ ብትሆኑ, your effort will pay you back. Yeah, that's my comment.
It feels like it's almost rehearsed again.
Come on.
So I think 342ኛ ጊዜ ነው thank you ስልህ ግን
I think it's my turn to say thank you እናንተ. ምክንያቱም አንድ ነገር ልንገራችሁ, I don't speak in እንደዚህ አይነት ፕሮግራሞች, and to be given a platform ስለ ስራዎቼ ስለ ኦፊሴ ለማውራት እድል ሲሰጠኝ I had to even contemplate ምንድነው ማረገው ነገር ብዬ contemplate ማድረግ ነበረብኝ for a time being. This platform is incredible. I think you'll have very impactful የሆኑ ሰዎች እዚህ ላይ talking about very important የሆኑ subjects, and hopefully ደግሞ የሆነ ቦታ እየደረስን I could join you again, talk about other stuff and other
absolutely.
Yeah, ለማያውቅ ሰው I'm also an animator and VFX artist. I'm bragging at this point, but you know, we can talk about a number of things. So I'm very grateful እዚህ ስለጠራችሁኝ. You are very incredible people, very እኔም ማውራት የቻልኩት እናንተ ሪሲቪንግ ስለሆናችሁ ገብተዋል. አንዳንድ ሰው ብዙ ታወራለህ ሊል ይችላል፣ ግን hopefully ሰውም የተማረበት ይመስለኛል.
Thank you. በጣም እናመሰግናለን for joining us. Thank you for being humble. Thank you for sharing everything without satsasat, everything ያለህን without gatekeeping የሚባል ነገር አለ, ግን without unwavering share ስላደረከን thank you so much. እና እኔ personally we know we will see you somewhere even higher achievement, and የዛኔ እንዲያውም we'll bring you on ከዛ ላይ we can discuss በዲቴል ደግሞ project specific ሆነና thank you again for joining us.
አመሰግናለሁ.
So that concludes ይሄኛውን ኤፒሶዳችን if you want to check የበፀጋውን እና his team የሱን ስራዎች ማየት ከፈለጋችሁ AHAA አለ AHAA architects አለ AHAA digital አለ he has also other projects ያልነገረን እና he does a lot of stuff እና check him out you can see all of his projects on his socials so we'll link it ከስር ላይ እናደርጋለን እና የዛሬው ኤፒሶድ ይሄን ይመስላል you can check it out on Teraki app audio version አለ and also please leave a like and ሀሳብ ካላችሁ or any comments you have for our esteemed guest please leave a comment and please don't forget to hit that notification button and have an amazing week I still can't get used to that part they subscribe ምናምን አይጠፋብኛል
Can I say something? Okay.
notification bell አልኩኝ
Like, subscribe, and click the notification button. Design Thoughts. Brought to you by. You know.